How's it going, everybody? My name is Splattercat, and welcome to the next episode of our Don't Starve Let's Play. Now, there was a bit of a problem with the recording, and I won't lie, I had 2 episodes recorded, and for whatever reason, they both got eaten up by my render drive. They both were, like, missing small chunks in the center, and so unfortunately, I wasn't able to, even with editing, piece them back together in a way that I felt was acceptable. And so I'm just going to give you a brief recap of what's happened since we left. So, looking at the map here, you can see that I'm up over here, kind of to the northeast of my base camp. I was looking for stone. We're still looking for stone to upgrade the walls around our base. Now, I had jumped down a wormhole just to test how much it affected our sanity, and the answer to that question was not very much. It only gets you hit by about 15, and it gives you about 15 sanity points lost. So you can't use it as a primary means by which to conduct your travel, but you can use it fairly frequently as long as you've got a silk hat and you're sleeping through the nights. Probably like once a day is a good estimate. Now down here there's a huge tract of swamp, and I found our little friend Chester sitting right here, but unfortunately he's dead at the moment, so we're waiting for him to respawn. He did not make the run back across the swamp. He got killed, so that's fine. There's a huge pig city right here. And other than that, nothing has really happened. Most of it has been running around doing general foraging and finding bushes to put around my base. So that's what we're doing right now. Up here in the north, we're looking for some stone to build up our walls. Our inventory is kind of full at the moment, so I'm kind of debating heading back to camp. I'm not sure if that's the best course of action or not, but what we're going to do is I've killed off the tall birds over here. They don't have any eggs or anything, which is a little unfortunate, but what I'm going to do is just gather up this stone so that we can convert it into walls, and then make sure that I have tons of flint with me, because I want to keep our flint supply good. We came into this map, well, last map anyways, we had some problems with flint, and so I don't like to be low on it. It makes me feel a little nervous, it makes me feel a little jumpy, and so it's a situation that I don't want to happen again. And let me rotate that real fast so that I can grab these stones. And you guys are such an influence on me. Before this LP, I just never rotated my camera ever. I hated doing it, I didn't like doing it. And now I'm just a rotating fiend, and it's all your fault. We can cook a pumpkin over the fire, which doesn't seem like it would be a very effective way to cook a pumpkin. It seems like it would take forever to cook a pumpkin in that manner, but let's keep walking. Let's take a look around here and make sure we haven't passed anything by. Our pickaxe is almost broken, so we're going to mine these nodes, and then we'll make ourselves another pickaxe. There we are. And now that we are on our second lovely pickaxe, and he actually, if you take a look at that pickaxe, he's pretty good at carving things into pickaxes. Like, from the flint on the ground to the pickaxe in his hand, that thing's looking pretty precise, so you got to hand it to this guy. But he is a robot after all, so maybe he's got like some excess code, some excess function in his little brain that lets him cut things into perfect shapes from nasty little stony shapes. But in any case, and we're full up on that right now, and taking a look, it looks like our shovel broke. I kind of want to dig up this bush right here, but I guess I'll leave it for now. It's not really pressing. And I apologize if I sneeze a whole bunch during this episode. My allergies have just been killing me lately, so like my allergies, I should be like, "Woo!" It's like watery eyes and itchy nose and all sneezy and nasty all the time. Nobody wants to sit next to me because they think I'm sick at the bus stop. Just all that fun stuff. So, now that we've got a reasonable supply of stone, it's probably a reasonably decent idea to start heading back to camp and applying it to our walls. And I didn't want that flint. Go away, Flint. Nobody loves you. Nobody loves you, Flint, you metamorphosed chert bastard. Anyways, that was geology humor. Now, let's grab some more rocks. And oh, our pickaxe broke. So I guess we're finished with rocks for now. We are finished with rocks for the moment. We don't have a whole lot of wood left. Now, I don't really... Well, let's hoof it back to base camp. We're going to hoof it back to our base camp. Codename base camp, oh, I don't know. Not base camp Zugak. That's what we used last time. I gotta think of a base camp name, so I'm gonna think about it while we walk back. But on the itinerary for what we need to get done is once we get our walls nice and built up, we need to come back and revisit all these beehives. We need to bust these bad boys up and take some bee chunks back, and then we're gonna have to grab a whole bunch of logs and turn them into planks or boards so that we can have some beehives, because honey seems to be a really efficient way to get food taken care of for every single day. So it makes sense that we would set up 2 or 3 of those, and then also set up flowers all around those by catching some butterflies, spending an episode. Oh my god, it's beefalo breeding season, and there's baby beefaloes. It is still initializing. I guess that's how a computer would describe, I guess, a growing organism. I don't know. Let's eat these seeds so that we don't have them sitting around. And, oh, look at that little one right there. I want to hug him. Huh. Someday, baby beefalo. Someday, baby beefalo. You too will be a massive, smelly, poop-exuding machine. And they added in animations for when they're in heat now. I like how the little ones kind of spar with one another. That's cool. It's all about the details with these games. I tell you what, Cly Entertainment has done such a great job with this title. Just kind of injecting that humor and injecting that originality and just all those little things that make the world feel alive. Like, I'm consistently impressed by my ability to walk past the... Never mind, I'm not walking past where I need to be. But I'm consistently impressed by Cly Entertainment's ability to inject life into this game. Just like the baby beefaloes do the little behaviors that you would expect from, you know, a young critter. A baby critter just running around being a baby critter. Like, you expect them to play, have fun, and do their thing, and that's exactly the kind of stuff that they've put into the game, and I really do admire that. Those are things that if I was a game developer, I would never think of. Like, I'm just not original enough. I'm too much of a corporate tool. Now, let's go ahead and get back to base camp before nighttime starts. And as you can see, I have built the walls up a little bit. Now, with the last patch, it's kind of a little... It's strange how the walls work. Luckily, we have enough logs. Not to change the subject too quickly, but we have enough logs to get by. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take this stone. So let's go to our refining menu, and we're going to cut it all into cut stones. And from there, we're going to turn it into wall segments, and we're going to build up our wall a little bit. So this may be a little boring, but what can you do? I've got a question prepared for you guys, so you guys are going to have to do some thinking anyways while we're sitting around here. And it looks like we've got too many stone blocks, so we're going to go ahead and put those in the chest over here with the rest of our stone blocks. And the question of the evening, for this episode anyways, is who is your favorite superhero? So like for me, personally, Batman has always been my favorite superhero since like the dawn of time. Since I was a kid, Batman is the stuff. Like, he is the coolest. Like, hands down for me anyways. But that's because he has all those qualities in a superhero that I like. Like, I like the fact that he doesn't really have any superpowers. Like, he's not super. He kind of has to deal with things logically. Like, he has to use his brain power, you know what I mean? He has to use his intuition to solve things, and he started out as a detective back in the day. If I had to put a second place here, because I know Batman is kind of a cop-out. A lot of people like Batman. If I had to choose another hero, I'd have to go with Thor. And that's mainly because the 1960s run of Thor that was written by Walt Simonson and everything, oh, that's some classic comic book reading right there. So if you haven't checked out comics in a while, or if you want to check out Thor, start with Simonson. Simonson, by far, is like the defining figure in Thor lore. In Forgotten Thor lore. So check those out. And let me know down in the comments who your favorite comic book superhero is, or maybe not even a comic book superhero. Just let me know, and we will discuss superheroes until our faces turn blue. And so now that we've gotten our nightly question out of the way, it leaves us with the question, how shall we spend day 15? Well, first we're going to eat up, so let's get some food done here. Alright, it looks like food affects your sanity as well, so that's a good thing to note. I actually hadn't noticed that sanity was flashing green before. We stayed up through the evening here. We have upgraded, well, we've kind of upgraded our walls, so let's get back to that. So we'll just put some blocks in place, because I frankly really don't want to store these all in my inventory at the moment, so I'd rather just build up the walls as quickly as possible, so that we don't have all this extra stuff taking up space. And it looks like we've got some rot on the ground right there, which is going to be good, because I'll use that to fertilize some further plants. And while the beefaloes are in heat right now, it's tempting to go and try and get manure. But unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be the best idea. Now, we've got a ton of pumpkins here. We've got just a load of pumpkins. Let me grab these seeds and we'll replant this field before we take off and go on our other adventures. And also, let's get some of these bushes out of our inventory. Now, I haven't heard the telltale gobble 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 of our gobbler friends. Our gobbler nemesis, I suppose. But let's get as many of these bushes planted as possible so that we don't have to carry them around either. There we are. And so that's taken care of. And let's harvest the bushes that are left over, so that once again, a gobbler will show up. And there he is. They will inevitably show up and try to ruin my day. Now, we do need to fertilize all of that. So let's go, well, if our beefa buddies up there are still in heat, then I don't see the benefit of sprinting up there and trying to take care of business with them. So unfortunately, we aren't really going to be able to get near the manure if they're still existent, I guess. Well, their heat is still, if they're in heat still. So let's take a look around here. And I suppose we'll head north. I mean, I really don't have a lot of plans on the itinerary here other than gathering up a bit more grass. Our berries are about to go bad, but that's fine. That doesn't even matter because we can still eat them when they're almost rotten, I think. As long as they're not absolutely disgusting, I believe that our robot can still metabolize them, so that's good. And actually, I know what we can do for the day, so let's head out here. And we're going to go find some of the bees, and we're going to get our beehive set up maybe. So let's go take a look, and we'll see whether that's going to be an imminent possibility or whether that's kind of something that's a waste of time too. But in any case, we're going to keep on trucking because frankly, if we're not going forward, we're going backwards. And there are things that we're going to need. We haven't had a hound attack in a little while, which is making me feel a little antsy about traveling. A little nervous, but we'll deal with that when the time comes. I don't really have anything I can throw on the ground to be like, go away, hounds, you big toothy jerks. But we do need some wood at the moment because if we get caught out during nighttime, which seems like a distinct possibility for this evening, I would love to have some logs. So, spending the night without a campfire, generally I still haven't played around with the idea of just right when nighttime falls, throwing out the sleeping bag and seeing if maybe that'll skip through the evening. I don't actually want to get like insta-gibbed or anything accidental like that during this Let's Play. I test stuff out like that in my own playthroughs, so I'll probably do that on the side to figure out if it works, because getting killed like that would be kind of, like, once again, embarrassing. And while you can't stop yourself from being embarrassed all the time, you can generally attempt to avoid it in the long haul. So let's go ahead and head up here. And there was a koala footprint back there. I am going to keep gathering seeds while we're running around, because if we can feed ourselves through the day just by eating seeds, it's going to save us a little effort. Although we do have roasted berries that are gone stale, unfortunately, so maybe we'll do that. And let's see what we can do here with this beehive. So there we are, and it looks like we've got a number of mobs running around, and some moron in my parking lot has decided to set off his car alarm. I apologize about, like, I hate it when things like that happens. Like, it is so generally irritating to live in an apartment complex and try and do something like this, because if it's not fistfights in the parking lot, it's always something. And there we are, so it's down. And let's see here. We had a guy the other night, I swear to God, it was 2 in the morning, and he decides that he wants his car to be warm before he goes to work or whatever the hell it is that he's doing at 2 in the morning. And so he just sits in the parking lot, like, outside my window, revving his truck engine, like, tempting me to get up and scream at him, like, ugh, who does that? Like, who does that? Sits there revving the engine. God. It's those little irritations in life that make you feel truly alive, I'll tell you. Oh, God. I may have bitten off more than I can chew here. See if we can get rid of some of these little buggers, some of these little buzzers. And they are actually pretty difficult to click. I didn't take into account that there were dozens of hives around, unfortunately. However, oh no. So let me make a new spear on the fly here. Oh, we don't have any of the stuff to make a spear. How delightfully awful. And we will pick up the honeycomb. I'll just deposit this stone on the ground so that we don't have to worry about it. And maybe kill them with an axe. I don't know. It takes quite a bit more damage, but it worked, so that's fine. Let's go ahead and pick up all these stingers, actually, because these stingers are going to be really useful to us later for stingy darts. Well, not stingy darts, but stingy sleepy darts. Which, putting enemies to sleep in this is actually one of the best ways to take care of Krampus, is just to put him to sleep over and over and over again and just melt him down that way, so... Oh, we're maxed out on that, so let's eat some of that. And there we are. It's going to give us some extra space. And let's refine a rope real fast, and then in our survival menu we'll make ourselves a straw roll. And keeping everything in the order it needs to be in. There we are. We'll get that going. And once we sleep on our straw roll, we'll pick up the rest of this honey. Hopefully the birds do not have a sweet tooth. If they come over here and start trying to suck up my honey, it's going to get ugly. There we are. And we'll throw the straw roll down and have ourselves a pleasant night of robot sleep. It's strange enough that robots have to sleep, who knew? And we'll eat some of these stale roasted berries in the morning just to get ourselves topped off. And why did I eat that berry? Unfortunately, sometimes I just have a giant fit of noobity. That's what I call it when I'm being noobish. It's the act of being noobish. Dwelling in a state of noobity. Now, we have more or less space for everything we need right now. So there we are, and we have our honeycomb. So let's go ahead, and I brought the eye bone with me. I shouldn't have done that. I actually didn't even notice that I had that in my inventory right now. That was kind of that, once again, dwelling in a state of newbity. So let's go up, and it's probably in our best interest to kill off some more of these before we leave. So let's make ourselves a rope, and we'll put the rope there. We'll have the eye bones sit here for just a moment. I'm surprised by how well these pumpkins are holding. They're actually not keeling out on me like I thought they would. I figured they'd be growing organisms by now, but we seem to be okay. So let's take care of business up here. We have enough health left on our log vest where I don't think, well, I love the little sound they make when they go down. It's kind of like a, if you look at old like World War II movies and stuff, the sound that a plane made when it goes down, like, what they don't tell you is that in B language, that's just the kind of profanity you can never imagine. It's the kind of profanity that accompanies being stabbed with a spear, which I don't even know if I could come up with the proper, like, I don't know if I could think up the swear words to, like, the type of profanity that would require. If somebody stabbed me with a spear, I would be inventing some new words, because I don't think words exist for that kind of thing. And actually, looking at my campfire, I don't think your campfire burns out normally when you sleep in a sleeping roll. We'll see what happens, though. Now, going back up to here, we are going to hack that apart, because I'd like to make a number of honeycombs, actually, or at least bee boxes, a number of those things, so that we can actually have a huge supply of honey at any given time, and you can cross that over with meat, and when you cross it over, you actually end up getting a really cool food item, which is, I forget what it's called, but it's meat mixed with honey, and it's amazing. It's really actually good, and I am just performing terribly today. I'm sorry. I'm just failing you as a player today, and these are actually really hard to click. You have no idea. Like, clicking them when they're that small, and it seems like some of them like front load their stings. So we're probably gonna have to make a new log vest after this, because frankly, my gaming skills are just, I'm just not holding it down today, guys. I don't know what to tell you. I am not holding it down. I'm just being an abject failure. But sometimes you gotta fail to make the guy next to you look good, so it's all good. Now we'll grab the honey, and I think, let's see here. Well, we'll finish off this last hive. Apparently there was one bee in there. He was the last vanguard. He was apparently like naked. He didn't have his pants on or something when I hit the hive the first time, so he just didn't bother. He's like, yeah, the other guys will handle it. And then when they didn't come home, he was like, damn it. Well, I guess it's up to me now. You are 50 Cent. It's time to stop the invader of your hive or die trying. The 50 Cent of bees. Have you ever played any of those 50 Cent games? God, they are awful. Like, I want to know who the publicist was that decided we need to make a 50 Cent video game. And he's going to be a cop in the video game, and nobody questions it. Nobody asks, like, so he makes a career making gangster rap, which historically is not the easy. They don't go very easily in their lyrics on the police. And then in his video game, as a gangster rapper, he portrays a police officer. You know, and nobody gives him shit for it. It's okay, though. I mean, you can't hate. You can't hate, because, frankly, I would never disparage anybody that's making a living. You gotta do what you gotta do to pay the bills. And we are getting pretty beat up. These bees are actually... They're... Oh, and that bird swooped in and ate those seeds while I was fighting the bee. Opportunist bird. Opportunist birds. Just one of the things we have to deal with here in our lovely new dwelling place, and unfortunately, I'm not seeing a lot of well, I guess I'll eat the seeds. There we go. Because I don't want to leave Chester behind. That's kind of a mean thing to do. Chester's never abandoned me, so I'll never abandon him. And I guess there's tons of honey laying around over here that I just never decided to pick up. There we are. And so actually our health is pretty low. I think honey restores a reasonable amount of health, so we'll just eat that like crazy. Our caloric intake will just be ridiculous, but robots can't get fat, so it's not a big deal. It's not like we have to go do robot squats or anything. And I didn't plan that rhyme either, it just kind of came out that way. Robot squats so we can get super robot hot? I don't know. I'm gonna leave it alone because I'm just making myself look dumb now. And hopefully we make it back to town. I love those baby beefaloes. Just no fashion sense whatsoever. Just kind of half nude, just running around with little chunks of hair sticking off of them. It's great. I love it. And I actually wonder if those grow into actual jumbo size, mega king size beefaloes. because that would give us a huge herd of beefaloes up there, which is going to make poo farming much, much easier. But we'll find out in future episodes. We'll go check on them once they're not in heat anymore, because right now they're just not very pleasant. I don't really want to be around them because they hurt and they attempt to injure me with their enormous horns. So all that being said, I think this is a great spot to break off this episode. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here in our Don't Starve Let's Play. This game is made by Cly Entertainment, so if you're enjoying the Let's Play, definitely check it out. I do have a Facebook set up for all this, surprisingly, so it's on the channel page. I've got it linked there, and I've actually been posting a lot of updates about the channel there. So if you always want to be connected to what's going on in the channel and you don't check your YouTube very often, you should definitely check out the Facebook page for Splattercat Gaming. And now that I'm done with my shameless, horrible, now that I'm done whoring myself, essentially, I'm going to break off the episode. Everybody take care out there.